Amara Lewis stepped out of the ride-share and onto the sunlit curb with a small weekend bag in her hand. She wore comfortable shoes, simple jeans, and a soft gray sweater. There was nothing about her look that said CEO. That was the point. She wanted to see how her guests felt when they walked in with travel dust on their clothes and questions in their minds. She took a quiet breath and lifted her eyes to the hotel sign, Harbor and Hearth. It was her brand. It was her responsibility. And today, she decided, she would be just another traveler with a confirmation code. Inside the lobby, afternoon light spilled through tall windows and fell across a polished floor. A lemon scent lingered in the air from the morning cleaning. A small fountain made a steady, calming sound. There were people at the long wooden front desk, a family in bright t-shirts, two business travelers tapping on phones, and a young couple holding hands. The bell attendant stood by with a patient smile, and a housekeeper was adjusting a small vase of flowers near the seating area. Everything looked warm at first glance. But Amara knew a brand was not the sofa or the scent. It was the behavior. She had booked a prepaid room under her first name and the letter L, the way she sometimes did when she wanted a true test. The reservation lived in the system and in her email. She had checked it in the car one last time. All set. Now she just had to walk up, say hello, and check in like any normal guest. She waited behind the family and listened to the front desk staffer speak with them in a cheerful voice. He offered suggestions about an ice cream place nearby. He laughed at a joke from the youngest child. The check-in was friendly and quick. When it was her turn, Amara stepped up with an easy smile. The staffer barely raised his eyes. He kept typing, paused, and then looked past her as if searching for someone else. Yes, he said. Good afternoon, she answered gently, placing her phone on the counter with her confirmation pulled up. I have a prepaid reservation. Last name Lewis, but it might show as Amara L. Here is the code. He scanned her phone for a second, then handed it back without taking it. We're very full, he said in a flat tone. I don't see that here. It's fully prepaid, she said, still calm. I booked last week. Could you try the confirmation number? He sighed and typed something into the system. We're fully committed tonight, he repeated. You might try a cheaper hotel across town. They run specials sometimes. Amara felt the small sting of that sentence. She kept her face relaxed. I understand you may be busy. If you could please check by the confirmation code, I'd appreciate that. He glanced to the side. Let me get the manager, he said, as if he were doing her a favor. He did not offer water. He did not ask her to wait in the seating area. He did not place the interaction in a gentle frame. He simply turned and waved over a duty manager. The duty manager arrived with a brisk step and a clipped smile. He gave Amara a quick look, then looked at the staffer instead. What's the issue? The staffer shrugged. She says she has a reservation, but we're fully committed. Amara spoke softly. Hello. I have a prepaid reservation for tonight. I have the code right here. Could you check it? Also, I'm seeing available rooms on the Harbor and Hearth app, so I'm a bit confused about fully committed. The manager gave a polite laugh that carried no warmth. Sometimes the app lags, he said. We're very full due to an event. Also, we require a different form of ID for certain bookings. We'll need a second government ID and a cash deposit. That's our policy. Amara tilted her head. I'm happy to follow policy. Could I please see that policy in writing? I want to be sure I'm meeting the exact requirement. The manager's smile faded a little. That's how we do things here, he said. We don't have to print it. Amara did not argue. She had worked in hotels since she was young. She knew the difference between a real policy and an invented hurdle. She kept her voice even. I understand. I'm going to step aside for a minute and pull up my record on the app. She moved a few feet to the side and opened her phone. On the app, the hotel showed several open rooms for that night, including the same room type she had booked. She took a screenshot with the time clearly visible. As she stood there, the bell attendant came near with a tray. "Water?" he asked, his voice kind. His name tag read J. His eyes carried an apology he could not speak out loud. "Thank you, Jay," she said, accepting the glass. "It's a warm afternoon." "It is," he said softly, and moved on to offer water to other guests with the same care. That was the culture she wanted to see. Small kindnesses, shared equally. At the edge of the lobby, the housekeeper finished placing the flowers. She looked toward Amara with a small, thoughtful frown, as if she recognized the shape of the moment. Her name tag read Rosa. She returned to her cart and, before pushing it away, made sure the vase faced the seating area with its best side forward. It was such a quiet act of pride, and it warmed Amara's heart. Back at the desk, a new couple stepped up. "Do you have any rooms for tonight?" the man asked. "Of course," the same staffer said, his voice bright. "King bed or two queens?" The couple shared a quick smile of relief. The staffer quoted a good rate, took a card, and handed over room keys. The word "fully committed" did not appear. The process took less than 3 minutes. Amara watched, not with anger, but with clarity. Real service could not be a light switch, turned on for some and off for others. Real service was a line that stayed straight, even when the lobby was busy, even when someone looked tired, or wore plain clothes, or did not announce a title. She walked back to the counter. "Hello again," she said to the manager with the same patient tone. "I would like to check in. Here is my confirmation code. And here are the rooms I'm seeing on the app right now." She placed her phone flat on the counter. The manager did not look at the screen. "As I said, the app lags," he replied. "And we have strict ID rules. I will also need a cash deposit from you. We can't accept cards for certain guests." "Is that written in your posted policy?" Amara asked. She pointed gently to the framed policy near the desk. "I don't see those words there." "That frame is old," he said after a pause. "We'll update it soon." He looked over Amara's shoulder and waved a staff member in a suit closer. "Just in case there's any confusion," he said. It was supposed to sound routine, but it had the effect of making the space feel less welcoming. Amara took a breath, not heavy, but deep enough to anchor herself. She was not here to win a small argument. She was here to learn what her brand felt like at the edges. And what she felt right now was a gap between the values on the wall and the reality at the desk. She turned slightly and read the name tags. She read the time on the lobby clock. She took a mental photo of the posture, the words, and the tone. She wrote a short note in her phone, asked for second ID and cash deposit beyond posted policy, said app lags, said fully committed, sold rooms to couple 2 minutes later. She did not add feelings to the note. Facts were enough. Facts, when lined up, pointed their own way. A family with suitcases walked in, tired but cheerful. The child in a bright cap tugged on his parent's sleeve and whispered, "I like the fountain." The parent smiled. The desk greeted them warmly and checked them in with simple steps and a compliment about their road trip. Again, the process was fast. Again, fully committed did not apply. Amara stepped back and looked at the big picture. She remembered the early days when Harbor and Hearth had only 3 properties. She remembered teaching the first team to say hello with eyes that truly saw the guest. She remembered writing the words, "Dignity is not a perk," on a whiteboard and underlining them twice. Those memories were not sentimental to her. They were instructions. She walked to a quiet corner near a bookshelf where guidebooks stood neatly in a row. She did not want to cause a scene. She did not want to raise her voice. She wanted to do what a good leader does: observe, record, confirm, and then act in a way that builds, not burns. She checked her email again. The confirmation number was clear. The rate was clear. The room type was clear. She took one more screenshot, this time of her payment receipt from last week. Jay, the bell attendant, passed by and paused a second, as if asking with his face, "Are you okay?" Amara gave him a small smile. "I'm all right, thank you," she said. He nodded with relief and moved on to help an older couple with their luggage, handling the bags with care and speaking in a polite voice that never hurried them. Rosa, the housekeeper, pushed her cart toward the elevator, then looked back once more at the front desk. She saw Amara waiting. She saw the manager speaking to another staff member with a quick whisper. Rosa knew the patterns of the building. She knew the times when the lobby felt open and the times when it felt closed. She took a breath and continued on, but the look in her eyes said she would remember this, too. Amara took a seat in an armchair near the windows. She watched the people moving through the space. The lobby was a stage that told the truth about a hotel. It told the truth in small lines of dialogue, in the way staff met a guest's eyes, in the way a problem was handled at a busy hour. A brand could spend a lot on design, but the brand lived in the voice at the desk. She opened the Harbor and Hearth app a final time and refreshed the page. The same room still showed as available. She noted the time again. She did not feel rushed. She did not feel helpless. She felt steady. If a person is sure of the ground they stand on, they do not need to stamp their foot. They can simply stand. The manager glanced her way once, then looked away. The staffer returned to his keyboard. The suit had moved back toward the offices. The hum of the fountain kept its calm rhythm. Amara thought about every guest who did not have her tools, a direct line to operations, an understanding of policy, or the authority to look deeper. She imagined a teacher arriving late and tired. A nurse finishing a night shift. A student visiting for a competition. She thought about how they might feel if they stood at this desk and heard fully committed while rooms were, in fact, open. She thought about what a brand owed to them: truth, clarity, and a fair chance to rest. She lifted her eyes to the sign on the wall that read "Welcome Home." It was a phrase she had approved herself. The words looked good in the frame. Now they needed to live in the room. She closed her phone and folded her hands. Part of leadership is patience. Part of leadership is timing. Part of leadership is knowing when a quiet note becomes a clear decision. She did not need to announce anything right now. She did not need to correct anyone in public. She would do what was right, in the right order. For the moment, she simply sat and watched, steady as the light moving across the floor, while the lobby told its honest story. In that story, she heard the spark she needed. It was small, but it was bright. Something was off, and it could be set right. Amara stayed in the armchair a few minutes longer, letting the lobby tell its calm story in small sounds. The fountain kept its soft rhythm. A suitcase rolled past on quiet wheels. A laugh rose from the couple who had just checked in so easily. She took another sip of water and stood up. It was time to try again, not with force, but with clarity. She walked to the desk, holding her phone with the confirmation screen open and the time visible in the corner. "Hello," she said to the front desk staffer in a warm voice. "I'm following up on my prepaid reservation. Could you please try the confirmation code directly? I can read it to you slowly." He glanced at her screen and typed for a moment. "Like I said, we're fully committed," he repeated. "Also, your type of booking requires an extra cash deposit and a second government ID. We only accept cash for that part. It is our policy." Amara nodded once. "I'm happy to meet any policy that is written and current," she said. "Could you please show me where it is written, or print it for me? If printing is hard, you can point me to the policy binder. She was careful with her words. She had trained teams on these steps. She knew the binder existed. The staffer looked at the duty manager. The manager joined them, wearing a cool smile. The binder is in the back, he replied. We don't bring it out for every request. It slows us down. Understood, Amara said gently. Perhaps you can read me the exact line. She kept her eyes kind, not sharp. It was a simple request. The manager paused. We update our rules as needed, he said. This one is known by the team but not yet printed. He tapped the counter once as if to end the topic. And again, we are full. While he spoke, the phone on the desk rang. The staffer picked up and happily confirmed a reservation for someone arriving late. Yes, we'll have your keys ready, he said, his tone bright. He ended the call, made a note, and put down the receiver. Amara observed the little scene without comment. She remembered a line from the company guide, if the guest asks for a rule, show the rule. If we cannot show it, it is not a rule. Is the general manager on site? Amara asked, still calm. If not, may I speak with the manager in charge? You are speaking with the manager in charge, the duty manager replied. The general manager is off for the day. You can email the hotel and someone will respond within 48 hours. Thank you, she said. I appreciate the information. She did not sigh. She did not raise her voice. She marked the time again in her notes and added the phrase policy not printed. She also wrote GM off, reply by email in 48h. It was not only about her stay. It was about any guest who might need clear rules on a busy afternoon. She opened the Harbor and Hearth app right at the desk and refreshed the page again. The inventory still showed open rooms, including the exact room type she had paid for. She took another screenshot and placed the phone on the counter so the screen faced up. I'm seeing this on our app in real time, she said. Would you like to verify against your system? The app is often wrong, the duty manager said softly. We will update it later. A family arrived with matching backpacks. Do you have two rooms near each other? The parent asked. The staffer smiled, clicked a few keys, and said, yes, no problem. We'll place you on the same floor. He handed over keys without hesitation. The exchange took 2 minutes. Amara breathed in and out, steady as a metronome. The pattern was very clear now, warm tone for some, cold tone for her, simple steps for some, new conditions for her. Jay, the bell attendant, came near again to collect a luggage tag. He gave Amara a quick, careful look that was full of human concern. She answered his look with a tiny nod. I'm all right, her eyes said. He went about his work with his usual calm grace. Amara tried a new path, as any guest might. If it helps, I can pay the deposit by card right now, she offered. I can also show a second ID if that is truly required for my type of booking. I just want to follow your real policy, the same one for everyone. The duty manager folded his arms. Cash only for you, he said. And we'll take that to the back office. You can wait here. Amara glanced at the framed policy next to the desk. It listed accepted payment methods, including major cards and contactless. No cash-only clause was shown. She pointed to the frame with a polite hand. This frame shows cards are accepted for deposits, she said gently. That frame is out of date, he answered. Please, Amara said, her voice like still water, bring me the current frame. She smiled, not as a challenge, but as a simple human request. We don't have a new frame yet, he said. A small line of guests formed behind Amara. She did not want to block their evening. She stepped aside and let them pass. Each was greeted with warmth. Each was given solutions. She watched one more new arrival ask, do you have any rooms at all, and heard the staffer answer, "Yes, we can make that work." The card machine beeped happily. The printer spat out a check-in slip. Keys slid across the counter. The word no lived only in her lane. Rosa, the housekeeper, returned from the elevator with an empty card. She paused at the edge of the desk to sign a supply sheet. Her eyes flicked to the framed policy, to the guests, to Amara. She had the quiet look of someone who cared about the place and noticed small things. When she pushed the cart again, a folded, clean note card fell from the top shelf, landing near the corner of the counter. It looked accidental, like a little piece of stationery out of place. Amara waited until no one else reached for it, then picked it up to move it out of the way. On the inside, someone had written a simple reminder in neat letters, "Policy binder behind desk." No name. No comment. Just those 4 words. She placed the note on the counter where staff could see it if they wished. Rosa had not broken any rules. She had not given an opinion. She had simply reminded the house gently that the house had a book with answers. Amara asked one more time. "Would you please bring out the policy binder?" she said to the duty manager. "I am happy to wait." He said, "We're too busy to do that right now." He turned to help another guest. Amara stepped back again, patient as ever, and wrote "refused policy binder" in her notes. Her list was growing: extra ID beyond posted policy, cash only deposit for her, no proof of rule, app discrepancy, policy frame called out of date, binder refused. None of this was personal in her notes. It was a record. It could be checked against logs and training. It could guide fair action later. To test another normal route, Amara opened the Harbor and Hearth customer support chat inside the app. She did not use any special tag. She wrote as any guest would, "Hi, I'm at the desk at property name. The hotel says it is full, but the app shows rooms and I have a prepaid booking. They are asking for a cash deposit and a second ID not listed in the policy frame. Can you help?" The support agent wrote back within a minute, "We're so sorry. We see your reservation as prepaid and valid. The property must complete your check-in. We will message the desk." Amara watched the staff screens. No one glanced at a new message. The support agent wrote again, "We sent a note to the property. Please ask the front desk to check their internal messages." Amara relayed this kindly. The staffer answered without turning to the back screen. "We do not take instructions from the app," he said. Now a quiet deadline entered the room. It was early evening. A light rain touched the windows, making small dots on the glass. If she wanted to keep the promise she had made to herself to see this property as a real guest and sleep under its roof tonight, she would need a path that worked soon. She had a 7 a.m. call planned from her room with a group of young managers in another city. She had hoped to use this hotel as a live case in that call, sharing small bright spots and small gaps. If she left to another place, she would still be safe and comfortable, but the lesson would be softer, less exact. She did what many guests would do next. She tried to rebook her room type on the app while standing in the lobby. If it went through, she would show the fresh booking on the desk screen. She found the same room type, same price, and pressed book. The app spun for a moment and then said, "Great news. You're all set." She received a second confirmation code. She added it to her notes and walked back to the counter. "Hi again," she said softly. "I have a second confirmed reservation just now, same name, same night. Would you like to check this new code? It might be easier." The staffer looked at the duty manager, who said, "We are still full." He slid a small "Be right back" sign to the edge of the counter, even though he did not leave. It was a wall made of 4 words. Amara's phone buzzed. It was a calendar reminder for a short evening check-in with her head of operations at 7 p.m. Just a routine planning call, not about this property. She silenced it, took a breath, and considered her next move. She could walk away and still meet her 7 a.m. duty from another hotel. She could send a quiet note to the regional director and ask for a review next week. But the truth was already here. It was in the lobby lights, the easy check-ins for others, the blocked path for her, and the missing binder that held the actual rules. She turned and looked around the lobby again for what was still working. Jay's steady kindness worked. Rose's careful pride worked. The fountain's calm sound worked. Even some of the desk work worked, just not for everyone. The brand wanted to be fair every time, not sometimes. She went to the small cafe window near the seating area. "Are you still serving tea?" she asked the attendant. "We're closed for a private group," the attendant said, pointing to a sign. The sign was printed on plain paper and taped to the glass at an angle. It looked like it had been there all day. Yet Amara had seen a guest carry a fresh tea a few minutes earlier. "Okay," she said kindly. "No problem." On her way back, she passed a small placard near the elevator with the hotel's promise printed in simple words: "We welcome all our guests with the same care, every time." She stood in front of it for a second. The sentence was a mirror. It reflected what should happen. It also showed what was not happening. A couple in business clothes came in from the rain. The duty manager walked around the counter to greet them with a warm handshake. He took their names and waved them forward. "Let's get you settled," he said, and the printer hummed. Amara looked at the clock. She gave herself a quiet inner countdown, not to pressure herself, but to give shape to the moment. 10 more minutes to try standard paths. If the path stayed blocked, she would move to the next step. Her face stayed calm, but inside she made a simple promise: the next step would be clear, respectful, and exact. It would involve facts, not feelings. It would also involve care for the staff who were doing the right thing, so the fix could lift them, too. She walked back to the desk for the final time as a silent guest. "I'll ask once more," she said in her soft voice. "Please check in my prepaid reservation using the confirmation code. If you need an ID, I will show it. If you need a deposit, I will pay it by card as your frame allows. If there is a written rule I am not meeting, please show it to me." The duty manager looked at her with a polite expression that did not change. "We are fully committed," he said. "There is nothing more to do." Amara's face was as calm as when she had entered. She wrote one last line in her notes: "Refused check-in after multiple fare requests." She closed the Notes app and placed the phone flat in her palm. The rain at the window thickened just a little. The fountain kept its gentle sound. Somewhere in the building, Rose's cartwheels rolled softly toward another floor. Jay's voice carried a quiet "right this way" to a new arrival. Amara lifted her eyes to the lobby sign that read "Welcome Home," and she let the words settle inside her. Home needed to match its promise. She had tried the guest path from start to finish with patience and simple requests. The path had stayed shut. The next move, she knew, would not be loud. It would be precise. It would be kind to the truth. And it would open the door not only for her, but for every person who would stand at this desk tomorrow and the next day, hoping for the same care, every time. Amara rose from the armchair and walked back to the quiet corner near the bookshelf. The rain on the windows made a soft pattern, like tiny taps on glass. She held her phone, opened her contacts, and pressed a familiar name. When the call connected, her voice was calm and steady. "Hi, Priya," she said. "I'm at Harbor and Hearth, the downtown property. I checked in as a regular guest under Amara L. The desk said they're fully committed while the app shows open rooms. I was asked for a second government ID and a cash-only deposit not posted in policy. I requested the written rule. They refused to show the binder. I've documented times and screens. This looks like a service breakdown and a fairness gap. I want an immediate on-site audit." On the other end, the head of operations, Priya Shah, did not rush or panic. "I understand," she said in a quiet voice. Are you safe and comfortable right now? Yes, Amara said. I am in the lobby, observing. Okay, Priya said, switching into practical steps. Regional Director Elena is nearby for city rounds. I'll send her there now. HR Legal is on standby. With your approval, I will pull check-in logs, arrivals list, internal chat, and yesterday's guest complaint file. I'll also ask Revenue to verify inventory and the app feed. We'll review policy postings and the training calendar. Approved, Amara said. Please add lobby footage review for the last 2 hours and any mystery guest notes from the past 60 days. I'm especially interested in consistency how similar requests were handled today. Understood, Priya said. Elena will be there within 30 minutes. She'll discreetly verify facts before we engage the desk. Do you want to identify yourself now or later? Later, Amara answered. First, I'd like to see how the team responds to a final, fair request. Got it, Priya said. We're with you. They ended the call. Amara placed the phone in her pocket and looked around the lobby again. People moved with easy purpose. Jay guided a guest to the elevators, giving clear directions. Rosa returned with fresh towels stacked neatly on her cart, the corners aligned like small white books. The fountain kept its soft song. Within 20 minutes, a woman in a neat raincoat entered the lobby, closed her umbrella carefully, and took a slow look around as if she belonged there, which she did. Elena Park, the regional director, walked to the bookshelf, paused near the guidebooks, and met Amara's eyes with a small nod. They spoke in low voices, friendly but focused. Evening, Elena said. I've got operations on the thread. Inventory cross-check is running. App feed looks current. I'll verify with the desk system. Thank you, Amara replied. Please do this the usual way. Ask for the binder. Ask for the posted policy. Observe tone. No introductions yet. Understood, Elena said. Elena approached the front desk with an easy smile and a guest-like question. Hi there, she said to the staffer. I'm here to inquire about availability for tonight. I don't have a reservation yet. Do you have any rooms? The staffer's voice brightened. Yes, we can do a standard king or 2 queens. Which do you prefer? 2 queens, please, Elena said. Also, could I see your payment and ID policy? I'm traveling with a colleague who will arrive later. I want to make sure I meet your rules. The staffer turned to the duty manager. He gave a short nod. Cards accepted, he told her. Standard ID required. Elena kept her tone light. Perfect. Would you mind showing me the policy binder? I like to read the details. We don't bring that out, the duty manager said. Elena smiled politely. I understand you're busy. I'll wait. There was a small silence. The printer in the back clicked once and went quiet again. After a moment, the duty manager went to the back office. He returned with a binder whose spine was slightly worn from normal use. It had sticky notes inside. He placed it on the counter and opened it halfway, keeping a hand on the cover. What do you need to see? He asked. The general payment section, Elena said, and any special ID rules. He flipped to a section with tabbed pages. The language listed accepted payment types, including cards for deposits. It listed one government ID for standard check-in. It did not mention a second ID for certain bookings. It did not mention cash-only deposits. Thank you, Elena said, reading quietly. And do you also have an updated printed policy posted for guests? The duty manager glanced at the frame on the wall. That frame is old, he said. We'll update it. I see, Elena replied. And your inventory, how many rooms open for tonight? We're nearly full, he said. Understood, she said with a gentle nod. Thank you for your help. Elena stepped a few feet away and tapped a short note to operations. A reply came back. The property system showed multiple open rooms and a normal mix of arrivals and no-shows. Revenue confirmed the app feed was aligned, not lagging. HR Legal noted 2 prior guest complaints in the last month about uneven check-in rules, both were marked coached with no follow-up proof. Elena returned calmly to the desk. Could I please book the 2-queen room I asked about, she said in the same pleasant tone. Yes, the staffer said, and started typing. He quoted a fair rate. He never asked for a second ID. He never asked for a cash deposit. The card machine beeped without trouble. The receipt printed with the easy sound of paper moving. Elena thanked him and stepped away with a courteous smile. Amara watched, steady and quiet. The difference between interactions was as clear as day. She didn't need to make a big point in public. She needed to align the house to its own words. Elena joined her again by the bookshelf. Facts confirmed, she said softly. Binder does not support the extra requirements used on you. Posted frame is not out of date in the parts that matter. System shows open rooms. App is correct. Prior coaching was logged without proof of change. Tone at desk is warm for some guests, not others. I've captured timestamps. Thank you, Amara said. Let's invite a fair reset. They walked together toward the front desk. Amara did not rush. She stood a polite distance from the counter and waited for a small gap between guests. When the moment came, she stepped forward, the same guest she had been all afternoon, with the same calm voice. Hello again, she said to the duty manager. I'd like to check in using my prepaid reservation. Here is the code. I will show my ID, and I will pay the deposit by card, as your posted policy allows. If there is a written rule that says otherwise, please show it to me. The duty manager lifted his chin slightly. As I said, we're fully committed, he replied. Also, for your type of booking, we need a second ID and a cash deposit. Amara held his eyes kindly. Will you show me that rule in writing? We don't have time for that, he said. It's known by the team. There was a gentle pause. The fountain's soft song seemed a touch louder in the stillness. Amara reached into her bag, took out a small badge holder, and placed it on the counter with care. The card inside showed her full name, the Harbor and Hearth logo, and her title. My name is Amara Lewis, she said softly. I'm the CEO of Harbor and Hearth Hotels. This is Elena Park, our regional director. We're here to help you succeed, which means we need to be truthful about what happened today. We serve every guest with dignity. Our policies are clear. When we ask a guest for something that is not written, we are not following our own promise. A fine, quiet stillness filled the space. The staffer's eyes widened just a little. The duty manager's polite smile faded. Elena kept her tone calm and practical. We will not raise voices, Elena said, and we will not rush. We will review facts. We will help you do this right, starting now. At that moment, Jay approached with measured steps and stood ready to assist any guest who came to the counter. Rosa paused with her cart near the elevator, her hands resting lightly on the handle, watching with the care of someone who loved the building. Amara spoke with warm steadiness. I asked several times for the binder. I was told the policy was not printed. I pointed to the posted frame. I was told the frame was old. I saw other guests checked in with ease while I was told the hotel was full. I made a second reservation in the app, and I was still refused. All of this is written in my notes with times. I would like to show you the list. We can verify each point against your system. The duty manager nodded, but his eyes did not hold. We're very busy, he said. I know you are, Amara replied, still gentle. Hospitality is busy work. That's why we use clear rules. They save time and protect fairness. Elena stepped forward with a small folder she had prepared in minutes. Operations verified open rooms at the times of refusal, she said. Revenue verified the app feed. HR found prior coaching on similar behavior. The binder's payment section does not require a second ID. It does not list a cash-only rule. The posted frame accepts cards. These are facts we have confirmed. Silence again. Not a harsh silence, an honest one. Here is what we will do, Amara said, her voice even and kind. First, I will ask one final time to be checked in by the written policy. I will present one government ID and a card deposit, like any guest. Second, we will begin an internal review of tonight's actions. We will do it with respect and with the care that this team deserves. But we will do it. The staffer swallowed and looked at the keyboard. We can check you in, he said, his tone smaller now. I can do that right now. Thank you, Amara said. Please proceed by the posted policy. He took her ID, entered the number, and processed the card deposit. The machine beeped. The printer gave its gentle sound as the check-in slip appeared. He handed over the key envelope with both hands. Your room is on the 8th floor, he said. Elevators are to your right. Thank you, Amara replied with a small smile. I appreciate it. She did not make a speech. She did not make a scene. She turned slightly and spoke to Elena in a low voice. Please gather the management team in the small conference room in 30 minutes, she said. Invite HR on video. Ask Jay and Rosa to join the first 10 minutes as listeners and truth tellers. We will start with facts, then training, then next steps. We will care for the guests in the lobby during this time, with extra hands. No one here will be left alone in a difficult moment. Done, Elena said, already sending messages. Amaro looked once more at the welcome home sign on the wall. The words were still the same. But now, an opening had appeared, a doorway from what the hotel said to what it would actually do. She took her room key, turned toward the elevators, and felt a quiet shift inside the building. It was not loud. It was not sharp. It was the sound of a house deciding to match its promise. The small conference room felt calm and bright. A glass wall looked out over the lobby. The soft sound of the fountain came through like a quiet reminder to breathe. Amara took a seat at the end of the table. Elena sat to her right with a slim folder and a pen. On a tablet, HR Legal joined by video. The duty manager sat across from them, hands folded. The front desk staffer took the chair beside him. Jay and Rosa sat near the door for the first 10 minutes, as invited listeners and truth tellers. The goal was not to shame anyone. The goal was to understand what happened and fix it quickly, so every guest would feel safe and welcome. Amara began with thanks. I appreciate you all making time, she said in a steady voice. We will be respectful and direct. We will use facts. We will use our policies. We will listen. Elena placed the policy binder on the table and opened it to the payment and ID section. She slid a printed copy of the same pages to the duty manager and the front desk staffer. These are the current rules, she said softly. 1 valid government ID card deposits accepted. No cash-only rule. No second ID rule for any booking type. HR Legal spoke from the tablet. We reviewed 2 recent complaints about uneven check-in rules at this property, the council said. Each was marked as coached, but there is no evidence of follow-up or change. This creates risk for guests and for the brand. The duty manager cleared his throat. We were trying to prevent fraud, he said. There have been troublesome bookings. I adjusted the rules to protect the hotel. Amara nodded once. Protecting the hotel is good, she said. But we must protect it with the rules we publish and train. When we invent extra rules for some guests and not others, we break trust. The front desk staffer looked down at his hands. "I followed what I was told," he said quietly. "I did not mean to cause harm." Amara's tone stayed kind. "Thank you for saying that," she replied. "Intent matters, and so does impact. We can hold both." Elena placed a short timeline on the table. It showed the exact minutes when rooms were open, when guests were checked in with ease, and when Amara was told fully committed. It showed when the app displayed inventory, matched by the system logs. It showed the times Amara asked to see the binder and was refused. "Do these times look accurate to you?" Elena asked. The duty manager studied the page. He pressed his lips together. "Yes," he said. Amara turned to Jay. "You have watched guests all day," she said. "What are you seeing?" Jay spoke carefully. "Most guests are treated with warmth," he said. "Sometimes, when the desk is stressed, the tone gets cold. It is not the same for everyone. I try to help where I can." "Thank you," Amara said. She turned to Rosa. "What do you notice?" Rosa folded her hands, then lifted her eyes. "Our house can be kind," she said. "We know how. But sometimes, rules change at the desk depending on the person. I do not know the why. I only see the what. It does not feel right." "Thank you," Amara said again. "That is clear and helpful." HR legal returned to process. Based on repeated inconsistency, refusal to show policy, and the gap between posted rules and actions, the council said, "This meets the standard for corrective action with cause. If you choose, you can remove the property management team from duty immediately while we complete the formal steps. We will do this with dignity and pay all final wages promptly, following local law. We will document everything." The room grew quieter. This was the hardest moment. It was also the honest path. Amara spoke with the same steady care she had shown all day. "We do not punish people to feel powerful," she said. "We correct systems to serve guests fairly. At the same time, leadership choices shape culture. When leaders allow made-up rules, others follow. That cannot stand." She turned to the duty manager. "Effective now, I am removing you from duty," she said gently. "HR will finalize your separation with proper compliance. The same applies to the general manager and the assistant manager. This is not about anger. This is about alignment with our brand promise." The duty manager nodded slowly. His face was pale, but he kept his voice calm. "I understand," he said. The front desk staffer looked shaken. Amara turned to the staffer. "You will step off the desk for the evening," she said. "We will pair you with a trainer tomorrow. If you choose to stay, we will help you learn the right way. Tonight, please rest." Elena moved smoothly into action. "I will serve as interim leader on site," she said. "Front office trainer Myra is on her way for a late shift. We'll run a 15-minute lobby huddle now for all on-duty staff." They thanked Jay and Rosa and let them return to the floor. Elena walked to the front desk and gathered the team near the fountain. Amara stood a little to the side so the team could see Elena as their point of comm. Elena lifted a small card. "This is our quick fairness script for check-in," she said. "It is 3 steps: confirm, check, clarify. 1. Confirm the guest's reservation by code or name. 2. Check the posted policy and the binder if any question comes up. 3. Clarify the next step with the same tone for every guest. No invented rules. No special hurdles for anyone. If you are unsure, ask for help. We will support you." Myra, the trainer, arrived with a light jacket and a smile. "I'll do 5 fast role plays," she said. "Then I'll stand shoulder to shoulder at the desk for the next 2 hours." They practiced polite phrases, open body language, and simple ways to say no when a rule truly required it, always with respect and a clear reason. Amara watched the short practice with a warm heart. It was not fancy. It was simple, honest work. The team repeated lines. They tested tiny gestures, like placing a policy printout on the counter for the guest to read. They practiced the sentence, "Here is the exact rule, and here is how we'll help you meet it." Every person could do it. No one needed to invent anything. Elena set a few fast fixes in motion. The framed policy was replaced with a fresh printout at eye level. A small stand on the counter now held trifold cards titled "Our Check-in Promise," with the three-step script in plain words. The internal message system on the desk computer was moved to a screen the team could actually see. A new alert ping would sound when the customer support team sent a note, so help would never be missed. Myra gave the front desk a short checklist: greet with eye contact and a friendly sentence, ask for name or confirmation code, check reservation, present policy if needed, complete deposit by card unless the binder said otherwise, offer water, mention breakfast or local tips. "This is not extra," she said. "This is the job." While Elena and Myra handled the lobby, Amara and HR legal returned to process. They met privately with the duty manager to explain separation steps with care and respect. There were no raised voices, no sharp words. There was a clear explanation of facts, a final review of pay and benefits, and a kind close. The same respectful notice went to the general manager and assistant manager, who would meet HR the next morning for formal offboarding. Keys and system access were deactivated quietly, and on-duty coverage was adjusted so the lobby never felt empty. At the same time, Amara asked operations to look wider. "Schedule mystery guest audits every week for the next quarter," she said. "Rotate times and guest profiles. Share a short report within 24 hours. Celebrate good service. Correct gaps fast." She also asked for a quick community plan. "Invite local groups to a listening session next month. Offer a hiring fair and 2 hospitality scholarships in partnership with the City College." In the lobby, the mood shifted in small ways. The front desk stood taller. The script brought ease. When a guest asked a question about ID, the staffer turned the check-in promise card toward them and read it together. The printer clicked out keys with a friendly rhythm. Jay moved through the space like a calm anchor, offering water to new arrivals and a map to a family looking for dinner. Rosa placed a fresh flower in the lobby vase and brushed a stray water drop off the edge of the table. It was a small act, but it felt like polishing the truth. Elena took a few minutes to speak directly with Jay and Rosa. "Thank you for your steadiness today," she said. "We see your care." She gave each of them a handwritten note for their file and a spot award to recognize their service. She also asked Rosa if she would consider helping the training team with a short Pride in Place module for new hires. Rosa's eyes lit up. "Yes," she said softly. "I would like that." Amara walked the guest floors with a quiet step. She checked hallway lighting, elevator call times, and the state of the carpets. She greeted a guest in the corridor with a warm smile and a simple good evening. She peeked at housekeeping closets and checked that supplies were neat and easy to find. She left a small note card for the night cleaning team: "Thank you for caring for this place while others sleep." Back in the conference room, she drafted a short message for the whole company, to send the next day. It read, "Dignity is not a perk. It is the job. Our rules must be clear, written, and applied equally. When we drift, we correct fast and with respect. Thank you to every team member who holds our promise steady every day." By late evening, the rain slowed. The lobby looked a little brighter, not because of new lights, but because of new behavior. Guests came and went and found the desk ready for them. The team's faces softened. The script felt natural after just a few hours. Myra nodded with quiet pride. Elena checked off her list and added one more line: "Weekly 10-minute fairness huddle at shift change." Amara finally went up to her room. The key opened the door with a soft click. The room was clean and calm. A folded card on the desk carried 3 words, "Welcome home, always." She stood by the window and looked down at the lobby. She could see Jay offer directions to a traveler with a gentle gesture. She could see Rosa roll her cart toward the service elevator with the same careful posture as before. She could see the front desk greet a late arrival with a smile that reached the eyes, and a hand pointing kindly to the policy card as they spoke. She sat on the edge of the bed and let out a long, even breath. This was the hardest part, the fallout and the first steps of real change. It had asked for courage and kindness at the same time. It had asked for clear decisions and soft voices. It had asked for care for guests and care for staff. But the house had taken the step. The door to fairness had opened wider. She set her alarm for the 7 a.m. call with young managers in another city. She already knew what she would share, how a simple script can protect dignity, how a binder can be a friend when stress rises, how small kindnesses like water, maps, and flowers make a lobby feel honest, and how clear action taken with respect can turn a hard moment into a new start. Then she turned off the light and rested, ready to finish the work in the morning. Morning light came through the curtains in a soft line. Amara woke early, made tea from the small kettle, and opened her laptop for the 7 a.m. call with young managers in another city. She sat by the window and looked down at the lobby 1 floor below. The fountain was steady. The desk was calm. She clicked join. Faces appeared in small squares. Some looked nervous, some excited. Amara smiled in a warm, simple way. "Good morning," she said. "I want to share a clear lesson from last night." She told the story in calm steps, not to blame, but to teach. She explained how she arrived as a regular guest with a prepaid reservation. She explained how the desk said fully committed while rooms were open. She explained the extra demands that were not in the policy. She explained how she kept notes with times and facts. She explained the confirm, check, clarify script that Elena and the trainer used. She explained how the policy binder is a friend, not a burden, when stress is high. She explained how kindness from team members like Jay and Rosa showed the true heart of the brand. Then she gave 4 simple points for the managers to share with their teams. First, write the rule, show the rule, follow the rule. If you cannot show it, it is not a rule. Second, use a short script to protect fairness when the lobby is busy. Third, treat every guest with the same tone. Not sometimes. Every time. Fourth, correct fast and kind. We do not shame, we teach and we act. She paused. Dignity is not a perk, she said softly. It is the job. The managers nodded. One asked, how do we keep this strong when we feel pressure? Use the binder, Amara said. Use the script. Ask for help. And remember, simple honesty is faster than complicated excuses. After the call, she closed the laptop and stood by the window for a moment more. Down in the lobby, a guest at the desk pointed to the check-in promise card. The staffer smiled and read it with them. The moment looked small. But to Amara, it looked like a door opening. She packed her bag slowly, checking drawers and shelves so she left nothing behind. She wrote a short thank you note to housekeeping on the desk. Thank you for caring for small things, fresh towels, clean corners, a calm room. When she stepped into the hallway, she met Rosa pushing her cart. Good morning, Amara said with a kind smile. Good morning, Rosa replied. Her posture was a little taller today, as if a quiet weight had lifted. I hear you will help with training, Amara said. Rosa's eyes brightened. Yes, she said. I will show new staff how to make a room feel cared for. Small things matter. They do, Amara said. Thank you. On the elevator ride down, Amara thought about the next steps. The hard decisions were made. Now the work was to make the good habits easy and natural. The doors opened to the lobby. Jay stood nearby, giving directions to a couple in town for a concert. He pointed to a map with a gentle finger, then looked up and greeted Amaro with the same friendly tone he used for every guest. "Good morning," he said. "May I help with your bag?" "I'm all set, thank you," she said. "You're doing great work." At the desk, Elena had a small clipboard with 3 columns: service wins, questions, fixes. Staff wrote short notes between guests. "Offered water to every arrival," one note said. "Binder tab for ID rules is now bright," said another. "We practiced the card phrase with 3 guests and they smiled," said a third. The board was not for show. It was a living list that made good service visible. Before leaving, Amara took 10 quiet minutes with Elena and Myra. "Keep the weekly fairness huddle," she said. "Keep the mystery guest audits. Keep the policy frame fresh. Keep the app messages loud on the desk screen. And please give me a short update next week, what worked, what needs more help." "We will," Elena said. Jay and Rosa also received spot awards and thank you notes for their file. "Good," Amara said. "Make sure the team sees that we notice steady kindness. It matters." She stepped outside into air that felt washed clean by the night rain. The city moved gently around her, a bus sighed, a bicycle bell chimed, a bakery door opened with warm smells. She took a quiet breath. The day felt new. In the weeks that followed, the small changes added up. The check-in promise card lived on the counter. Staff used it with confidence. The policy frame stayed updated, printed straight, and set at eye level. The binder had bright tabs and a simple index. The desk computer showed internal messages in a place no one could miss, with a soft alert that reminded, not startled. The fairness huddle at shift change took 10 minutes, no more, but it set the tone for the whole day. Role plays were fast and real. New staff practiced offering water, reading the policy together with a guest, and giving clear next steps when any rule applied. Guest satisfaction rose. The property tracked simple, human numbers: time to check in, number of times a guest asked to see a rule, number of times the rule was shown, number of compliments and complaints. Time to check in got shorter. Questions dropped because answers were visible. Compliments grew because the welcome felt real. Complaints about uneven treatment fell. The night audit team added a small line to their report: policy shown when asked. Yes/no. Most nights, it said yes. HR completed the formal separation steps for the former managers in a respectful way. There were no harsh words, no rumors. The company thanked them for past work where it fit and moved forward with clear eyes. Interim leaders from other properties helped cover shifts for 2 weeks. Then a new general manager arrived, calm, experienced, kind, and strong about rules. She met every team member one by one and asked the same simple question: what small thing would make your job kinder and faster? People named things like a better stapler, a clearer map for guests, a shelf at the right height, a short script for late-night noise complaints, and a small umbrella stand for rainy days. The general manager made a list and worked through it with quiet speed. Morale lifted because people felt seen. Rosa spent 2 afternoons with the training team and filmed a short Pride in Place module. In it, she showed how to set a room so it felt like a hand had smoothed the space. She talked about corners, light, and the right way to place a folded towel so it looked cared for, not just folded. Her voice was soft, and it made people smile. New hires watched the video on their first day and wrote one line they loved from it. Many chose the same sentence: a guest can feel when a room has been respected. Jay became the guest experience lead for the lobby. It was not a big title, but it was an important one. He taught the art of the warm welcome. He taught how to look up from a screen with a true smile, how to hold a map so it did not flap, how to offer water without making a big show of it, and how to see a person who looked unsure and help them feel steady. He did not talk for long. He showed small things with his hands. People learned by watching and then doing. He kept a small notebook and wrote down 2 good things he saw each day, and 1 thing to improve. He shared these notes at the Fairness Huddle with a grateful tone. The community outreach plan also took shape. The property hosted a listening session with local groups. It was simple: chairs in a circle, tea and cookies, and a small sign at the door that said "You matter here." People shared honest thoughts about welcome, safety, and respect. Staff listened and took notes. They did not argue. They asked, "What would make you feel seen?" The answers were not dramatic. They asked for clear signs in 2 languages, better lighting near the side entrance, a family rest area with 2 chairs and a small table, and a visible way to share feedback that did not require a long email. In a month, all those items were done. 2 hospitality scholarships were announced with the City College. The application form was short and kind. The message was simple: if you love caring for people and paying attention to small things, we want to help you learn and grow. Rosa visited the class once and told her story. Students asked questions about how to stay patient when the day is long. She said, "Breathe in, breathe out, look at one small thing, and make it better. Then do the next one." Amara visited again 4 weeks later. She did not announce herself. She walked in with a small bag and the same easy clothes. The lobby felt different, not because of new furniture, but because of new behavior that had become normal. The desk looked up right away and said, "Welcome to Harbor and Hearth. May I see your name or code?" She showed her confirmation. The staffer checked it. The policy frame stood clear and current. The check-in promise card faced the guest side. The binder had tabs like flags. No one asked for a rule that did not exist. No one made the process heavy. She was checked in with a smile and a short, helpful sentence about breakfast and a cafe nearby. Before going to the elevator, she stepped to the side and watched for a minute. A family arrived with sleepy faces. The staff offered water and spoke gently. A business traveler asked a hard question about late checkout. The staffer turned the policy card around, read it with him, and offered a fair option. A couple asked for dinner tips. Jay pointed to the map with his calm finger and told them about a place with warm bread. Rosa slid the lobby flower into fresh water and turned the vase so the best side faced the room. It all felt steady. Elena joined her with a short report. "Guest satisfaction is up," she said. "Time to check-in is down. Complaints about uneven rules are rare and corrected fast when they appear. Staff turnover slowed. People say the lobby feels honest. Mystery guest audits show the script is used and helpful. The weekly fairness huddle is a habit now." "Good," Amara said. "How are Jay and Rosa?" "Growing," Elena said. Jay is training 3 new bell attendants and 2 front desk hosts on the welcome. Rosa is building a small module on quiet fixes, things guests never see but always feel. We put both on the schedule for new hires." They stood together for a quiet moment, listening to the fountain, which had become a soft symbol of steady care. Then Amara checked in under her name, as a normal guest, and went up to her room. She placed her bag on the stand, set her key on the desk, and looked out the window at the city. The work at this property had started with a small sting and a clear spark. It had moved through facts, training, and brave decisions. It had arrived at something simple, a house that matched its promise. That evening, before dinner, she wrote a company-wide note and scheduled it for the morning. It said, "Yesterday I visited one of our hotels as a regular guest. We found a gap between our promise and our practice. Together, we corrected it with facts, training, and respect. Here is the lesson for all of us: write the rule, show the rule, follow the rule. Use a short script in busy times. Speak with the same tone to every person. Correct fast and kind. Dignity is not a perk. It is the job. Thank you for making this true, every day. She closed her laptop, made a cup of tea, and walked down to the lobby to sit for a few minutes in a corner chair. She watched a new guest step up to the desk and be welcomed with a clear, warm voice. She watched a team member point to the policy card and smile. She watched Jay show the elevator with his quiet hand. She watched Rosa pass by with her cart, wheels moving in a soft line. The lobby felt bright not because of lights, but because of behavior. Amara took a sip of tea and smiled. Not at the power of one call, but at the power of clear values, lived every day, in small, steady ways.